A warm welcome to all our viewers to our series, Natural Medicine. I have an acquaintance, a good friend, who lives nearby, and she had tinnitus for decades from a gas balloon that once exploded and gave her tinnitus. After 20 or 30 years of suffering, she finally got rid of it. She also explained to me how she did it, and the great thing is there was a technology behind it that is responsible for the success. And the developer of this technology, Mr. Guido Birter from Energy, is here today. Stay tuned, I'll be very excited. Welcome, dear Guido. Thank you for taking the time. You know the case of this lady from St. Gallen? We talked about it before. I just think it's a miracle, an incredible miracle. She tried everything, and as a last resort, she tries your technology. You have to explain that to me in detail, and after a short time it crackled and the ears were open. So, I can bring this lady back to the studio at any time to please document that again. I just find it really important. Now, tell me what exactly did the lady do? She treated herself with the right light, with a light that has a frequency that surrounds the cells, or the matrix around the cells, and is, let's say, beneficial, comfortable. I don't want to call it healing. This is simply the energy from this light that flows through the skin into the body. And she did it back then with the energy stream, a light device to vitalize the cells. We don't want to call it therapy, rather it's a wellness device, although there are a lot of exciting highlights happening with it, like with this lady I was also able to get to know a few years ago. That was a really great success. But nonetheless, one of very many. We noticed all kinds of phenomena. Back then, this hot air balloon story, I still remember it very well. But there are also animals, horses, cats, and great experiences in all sorts of areas, and that's what we want to talk about today. Good. Could you maybe show me briefly what such a system looks like so that the audience knows what we're talking about? You want to see it? Yeah, I'd like to see it. Yes, please, show me briefly. Right, now I can only show you the Stream HS. That's a device that we basically have built into the structure of a headphone. And it looks like headphones too. I'll hold it up to the camera like this, and you can wear it like headphones. But if you say that you have shoulder pain, for example, then you can put it over your shoulder and have the right light from front to back. We all know we should pamper our pineal gland, and you can even do things like this. That looks a bit insane now, but you can also put it on the front and back, on the frontal lobe and on the back, just like here, because in the end it doesn't just support blood circulation in the truest sense of the word, but is a form of vitalization of all cells that receive this stream. That's why it's called Stream. Whether these are knee problems, whether they are hip problems, ladies with chest pain, they use this. So wherever there is irritation, we have all kinds of people who use this very successfully, simply by putting this on the affected area 3 to 5 times a day for 5 or 10 minutes. That's it. Can you explain to me what's coming out there, or is it just red light? And is the therapy success due to the red light, or is there more going on? So, in the end, it's a peripheral product of our main product. You know that the energy technology, the spirovitalization, spiro, from breathing, and vitalization is clear. And we've done the whole thing for 21 years. You know, in September, we've our 21st anniversary of energy. And we mostly focused on the breathing devices and the Stream. Well, the Stream is more or less a product of chance, because some years ago we used fibre optic cables to put the information that also takes place in the form of light in the energy catalytic converter on the acupuncture points. Lo and behold, there were all sorts of positive results, but it was an application that you basically couldn't just do at home, or that everyone can do at home. And so we refined that over the years and ultimately built that into the Stream. The Stream device, that's the little device, you know it too, that looks like a light mouse with a coiled cord on it, and you can hang it anywhere. The areas of application, they're so varied that we said you have to be able to clamp it down because people don't want to hold on to it all the time. 5 or 10 minutes can be long. And so sometime in 2003, I had the idea to build it into headphones. And we did all sorts of experiments, have taken HRV measurements, even with the Stream HS worn on our head. We were able to positively influence the HRV after 8 minutes. That's how it came about. We've already sold all sorts of products, but always only to people who already knew our technology. But lo and behold, we've now concentrated for half a year on dermovitalization, as we call it. So not spirovitalization, but dermovitalization. We concentrated on that, and we did so with great success. Maybe you can explain a bit more to me in this program. We're moving quickly away from the HS and from the Stream, from these headphones to these breathing devices. A technology was created there, which is now also built into these headphones. This spirovital technology. I used to understand it a little differently with chlorophyll and conversion and God knows what else. You're the scientist. Explain to me again so that the audience will understand. What is the core of your development? If I can define the therapy media, it's light, air and water. We humans live from light, air and water. I don't want to say exclusively, but we can achieve a lot with that. But we also breathe light, air and water somehow. You're rightly addressing photosynthesis. We've tried to simplify it for 21 years. When we described energy 20 years ago, we talked about singlet oxygen energy therapy. Singlet oxygen is a highly reactive state, or the state of oxygen, which is simply highly reactive. And this state is, among other things, also in photosynthesis. It develops in this decisive process. Up until then, this was technologically impossible to replicate, and we succeeded in doing that back then. That means in these devices, whether it's spirovitalization or dermovitalization, we've built in artificial photosynthesis and bring the interplay between light, air and water into balance, so that the best energy can obviously be given out. And because the energy stream brings energy into the body through the skin, what is the body? It is water. It should also be light, the right frequency, and that is also our know-how, or exactly our secret, a little bit. I always say the Coca-Cola recipe, even though nobody should drink Coca-Cola. I'd like to emphasize that again. But we have found a very precise frequency that is obviously good for every cell, whether they're bone cells, they're skin cells, whether they're tendons or something else. And even Dr. Bernhard Welker from Bonn, he did a study many years ago in women with chronic chest pain, regardless of the cycle. And people put the stream 3 to 5 times on the affected area, and lo and behold, they were painless for over 7 years. I say, how do you know 7 years? Because Dr. Welker wasn't ready to publish the study at the time. I think there were 25 or 30 subjects. He said there was something wrong. It's impossible. I said, yeah, it's possible. And because we were 6 or 7 years running, the experience was, of course, further. And that was also published there. I have another example with a kitten. Coincidentally, the owner of the kitten already had an energy device, so at least she already had spirovitalization. And then she told one of my staff members that there was this injury on a cat's foot, and it should be amputated. It was pus-filled and so on. Long story short, we loaned the customer such a device, and after 3 weeks the situation was like this, that the foot could stay on, so we reached the animal world, and that was actually always our approach, that we spread, let's say, good energy into the animal world. And so we came across Michael Zickelman 3 or 4 months ago. He's from Gelsenkirchen, and he's a free-thinking researcher, and according to the motto, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Because that is light, air and water, it can't be dangerous. We don't add any chemicals, it doesn't get ozonized, we don't ionize it or anything. It's just light, air and water. We just bring it together in the best possible way. Lo and behold, we've also built prototypes for the horse world with 3 streams. At the moment, we're building one with 9 streams that we can put it completely under the horse's blanket and move it along the spine. This is a really exciting topic that we started with because the spirovitalization works well. Let's say it's not a hot-selling item in that sense, but it's spreading more and more. Now we just want to spread the light. And because with the Little Atmos, which we more or less launched for our 21st birthday, we actually addressed a completely different target group. As you know, for the first 20 years, we focused on professional clinics, doctors, and I don't know what, therapists. But in the end, we want to help people. And that's why we now brought a cheap device onto the market, the Little Atmos. So this is great for home when you're not working in therapy and so on. And with that, we addressed a new target group. All of a sudden, they said, what is that about the energy stream? What is it? That is a lot cheaper, I have to be honest. That costs less than half that of a breathing device. But that's how people noticed, and we got all the great feedback in the last 3 or 4 months. And I was able to tell you briefly in the preliminary talk that I myself am amazed at the situation. I'd like to apologise to the audience for the bad connection that we have, but I'm glad just to hear Guido. We haven't seen him in the meantime, but he's back now. Please understand we take what we get, because it's not always possible to get Guido Bierter, who is so busy, back to Switzerland again and again. But usually an internet connection does work well so that we can use it. Anyway, thank you very much again that you do this with me now, even if the connection keeps breaking off. So I'd like to ask you, if you want to test this technology, do you always have to buy it, or do you have options to rent it, or God knows what, to lease it, or what are you offering there? So with the energy stream, we don't offer rental, but it is possible to check or apply to test it at around 400 institutions with which we cooperate in Germany. In Switzerland, you know, we are under construction. Corona slowed us down a bit last year, that we couldn't build the structures in Switzerland. But of course we do intend to, and then we'll try to establish such test locations in Switzerland as well. But in the end, Alexander, it's not like trying it 3 times. I mean, on that chest pain topic, it was like that, but this is an exception. The kitten, for example, you have to do it for 3 or 4 weeks. We have people with tennis elbow or with damaged knees, worn knees. They have to do that for 6 months and over again, because we often tend to stop therapy when the pain is gone, but actually we should then start again to build the whole thing up. Cartilage in the knee, for example, and so on. So that's a manageable investment of around €1,000. And that's just the way it is. We can't guarantee rent in this form because we just don't have these structures. You know, we are a manufacturer. We're a small, medium-sized company. We want to get there someday. But let me tell you, this is a highlight for the medicine cabinet, and it actually belongs in every medicine cabinet. And don't just try it once. But if I pinch my finger, for example, it works differently than if I have an injury like a stomach ache. If I put it on the solar plexus for dry coughs for smokers, they put that on top of it. We have a wide range of experiences there. That just goes into the medicine cabinet. I say that with full conviction. Can you give me a little more information in what context you can use it? We heard tinnitus, and I also know that many viewers are confronted with this annoying whistling in their ears. Here I would say that I have the experience with this friend from St. Gallen, and can only say it was a miracle, but I've had it with 2 or 3 others. No, it was about 5. It worked for 3, but not for 2. I don't know why, but there is still a high probability that something will happen, and I'm still looking for an explanatory model to explain why that actually worked. Maybe I have an idea about it. I heard it once because one of our employees in his early years had also that we'd often had success with tinnitus. I never guarantee it, but we just can't promise that because that's a base of 80 causes, I think. I think 50 of them are mechanical and 30 are neurological. When it comes to neurological issues, energy has a positive influence. But if it is, of course, a mechanical, a nerve's pinched or something like that, then the stream can't do anything. Although it is also known for the fact it can release muscle tension. So that's why there are always people who tell us about tinnitus, but by no means all of them, but it is worth a try. But then the issue is, if we were to buy this only for tinnitus, and in the worst case it would not be successful, then there are definitely 2 or 3 other, let's say, little ailments, aches or pains, where you can use the stream optimally. Then let's talk about the pineal gland again, because you ticked it off so quickly. But I think it's really important to talk about it. The pineal gland makes melatonin production on the one hand. It lets us sleep better if it works properly. Or also serotonin, the happiness hormone, can be produced. And many scientists still say that it's somehow also the spiritual level, which is open to us by an intact pineal gland. Can this really be treated with this technology over the years or from the front? And also release this calcification over time? So whether the calcification can be cleared now, I don't want to accept or decline, so to speak. I just don't want to. It's a long story. There's a lot more happening in the pineal gland. You said it so beautifully. They say our connection is there somewhere, but there are completely different senses. I think it's also about smells and I don't know what sense of taste and what have you. I think empathy should be hidden there, among other things. It can't do any harm. It is if it is irradiated. So yeah. That's why we're currently building a prototype. But there's not yet a lot of experience, at least not with the prototype, because there'll be 4 light sources in the stream now, compared to the Stream HS, which has 2 light sources in it. And we have loads of people around us who deal with their pineal gland. I also try to do it as much as possible, but we know if we go parallel over the frontal lobe and over the back of the head and left and right over the ears, that the effect should actually be even stronger. So we're building at the moment a stream in front, a stream in the back, left and right, and I'm looking forward to the trials. We're giving it to us on our 21st birthday. With our partner Michael Zickelmann, who just has crazy ideas. There are people who wear this and we don't tell them what it is. We just ask them to put it on and tell us after 20 minutes or after 5 or 10 minutes how they feel. And we often have the feedback of those feelings of happiness and so on. And even Professor Jung, you also got to know him back then. It has also made several publications. It's about serotonin, so that's more or less already proven. That energy's spirovitalization can do it, but of course dermovitalization can do that too. But we still don't have any measurement data in the sense that are still required. But our first measurement criterion is, how does the user feel afterwards? Are they okay? Whatever. Are they more relaxed? Do they feel good? Many report on that. And in addition, there is also the fact that if you want to take a 10-minute break with the Stream HS, then it's like headphones. There just isn't any music in there, but wearing headphones and not listening to music or all the background noise is also a luxury. Sure, of course. Many people use it in the office. They put on their HS during the day, 10-15 minutes or every now and then that's a little cure for some during the day in the office. Well, my colleague always wore it when watching TV. So on the one hand she breathed it, and on the other hand the headphones, and then she watched TV and then actually forgot the time. It doesn't matter how long she wears it. I'm a little afraid that our connection will collapse again, so you're almost no longer there, just in a small format. But actually, you said everything except one thing. If the viewer says now that this is a very exciting topic, I want to deal with the topic, is there some literature, a platform, where you can read a little more about what is installed there, how it works and so on? Yeah, of course. You can go find it on Google or on DuckDuckGo, wherever. There you enter Energy Stream, STREAM,
R-E-A-M geschrieben, wie das englische
like the
Stream
English
von
word
Strömen.
stream, like
Und dann
flow,
findet man
and then you
Videos,
find
da findet man
videos, and there you'll
Erfahrungsberichte, da
find
findet man unsere
testimonials, and there you'll find
Webseite,
our website,
wissenschaftliche
scientific
Informationen.
information.
Professor Jung,
Professor
Professor
Jung, Professor
Banghofer haben da
Bankhofer
ein
made a
10
10-minute
Minuten
video
Video drüber
about it.
gemacht. Also die
You can
findet man
find all
alle
of
auch
them
bei
on
YouTube, also
YouTube,
gibt es
so
jede Menge
there's a lot of
Informationen zu.
information there
Und
too.
natürlich auf
And of
unserer
course on our homepage, energy.com or .de or .ch.
Großartig, super.
Great, thank
Danke,
you, dear
lieber
Guido
Guido
Birta.
Birta, danke, dass du dir
Thank you
Zeit
for your
genommen
time.
hast.
Thank you, Alexander.
Danke, lieber Alexander,
Und ich
dass du
wünsch-
das auch
That
trotz
you
dieser
kept going
schlechten
despite this
Verbindung
bad connection.
durchgezogen hast. Ich freue mich darüber.
I'm happy about
Vielen
it. Thank you
Dank. Auch für
very
dein
much. And also
Vertrauen.
thank you for your trust.
Ebenfalls und
You
für
too,
deine
and for
Firma
your company, Energy,
jetzt,
now
mit
in
dem
its
21.
21st
Jahr.
year.
Alles Gute.
I wish you all the
Weiterhin viel
best,
Glück und
continued
Erfolg
good
wünsche ich
luck
dir von
and
ganzem
success
Herzen.
with all my heart.
Ich danke dir. Das wünsche ich dir
Thank you. I
ebenso.
wish you
Danke
that
dir.
too. Thank you
Liebe
very much.
Zuschauerinnen
Dear
und Zuschauer,
viewers,
ich hoffe,
I hope
wir
we were able
durften
to
Ihnen hier wieder
introduce
mal
you to
etwas
something
Neues
new
vorstellen,
again,
eine
a technology
zeigen,
that
die
shows
Wirkungen
effects,
zeigt,
shows
Erfahrungswirkungen
experience,
zeigt, wie
like with the
das
example of my
Beispiel
good friend in
meiner
the
guten
area of
Freundin
tinnitus.
im Bereich Tinnitus. Ich kann mir nur
I can only
wünschen und
wish
hoffen,
and hope
dass
that
es
it
bei
may
leidtragenden
also
Tinnitus-Patienten vielleicht bei Ihnen
work
zu
for
Hause
suffering
es
tinnitus
auch
patients
wirken
at
mag
home,
oder darf, sodass
so
dieses
that
lästige
this annoying
Ohrenpfeifen
whistling in
ein
the
für
ears
alle Mal wieder
disappears once
verschwindet.
and for
Ich
all.
kann es nur
I can only
hoffen
hope
und
and
mir
wish that is
wünschen,
so,
dass es
because
so
in
ist, denn innerhalb der
academic
Schulmedizin
medicine
ist
it
es
is
einfach
just
wirklich
really very
sehr, sehr
difficult
schwierig, hier
to get
Behandlungserfolge
treatment
zu
successes
bringen.
here.
Und wieso sollte man nicht
And
jedes
why not
Register
go
ziehen,
all out
hier
to get
dieses
rid of this
lästige
annoying
Pfeifen wieder
whistling
loszuwerden?
again?
Oder eben, wie
Or as
wir
we've
heute
heard
gehört
today, it
haben,
can
auch
also be
für
used
andere
for other
Beschwerden
complaints
nutzen kann, auch
in
hier
order to
Linderungen
provide
zu
relief here
erzeugen. Ich
too.
wünsche Ihnen
I
alles
wish you
Gute, viel
all the
Erfolg,
best,
bis ein
good luck,
anderes Mal
see you next
und
time.
auf Wiedersehen miteinander.